Dear students, in this session of revision of optics MCQs, we just take up some more MCQs from previous exams and other state exams and national level exams. First we read, in refraction, light waves are bent on passing from one medium to second medium, because in the second medium, we read all the four, we just think of it, the frequency is different. It is wrong because frequency remains same whenever the light changes from one medium to another. Second option, the coefficient of elasticity is different. That's nothing to do with this light. Say third option, the amplitude is smaller. That's also not correct. The option is none of this. So fourth is correct. Then we read the second question. White light is incident on the interface of the glass air as shown in the figure. If the green light is just totally internal reflected, then the emergent ray in the air contains. Say here, for green light, it is just total internal reflection. So if we mark this angle as CG, the critical angle for green, G stands for green there, we write these aspects and then we can decide which are the light rays which are coming out of white light. Say white light contains these rays, VIB-GIR, as you all know. And here the violet as the lowest wavelength and red as the largest wavelength. So wavelength increases from violet to red side. Say we know the refractive index is 1 by sin C. And you know refractive index is also C by V is 1 by sin C. C is the critical angle. Therefore, we can simply write, if you write the wavelength there, lambda in air by lambda in medium 1 by sin C. Therefore, we can simply write sin C proportional to lambda, or C proportional to lambda. As C changes, sin C also increases, so lambda also increases. That means as lambda increases, sin C increases, C also increases. Say with this idea now, as C proportional to lambda, for green in this medium glass to air, it is undergoing just total internal reflection. That means it is grazing over the surface of glass and air interface. For all the wavelengths, say below green, the critical angle is less than Cg. Therefore, the below wavelengths means violet, indigo, blue. All of them have critical angle less than Cg. That means when white light falls at critical angle Cg, all other lower wavelengths will have the critical angles less than that. Therefore, all of them get reflected back to glass. So, the higher wavelengths like yellow, orange, red have the critical angle more than Cg. Therefore, as they fall on the glass air interface with lower angle of incidence, all of them get transmitted to air. Therefore, the option is the higher wavelengths than green. We read the options now. Yellow, orange, red, violet, indigo, blue, all colors except green. Say observe, as I said, higher wavelengths, yellow, orange, red can pass on to air. So option A is right. We read third question. A ray of light is incident at glass water interface at an angle I. It emerges finally parallel to the surface of water. Then value of mu g would be, mu g means refractive index of glass would be. Say we apply Snell's law for two interfaces, glass to water, water to air. For glass to water I write Ng sin I equals Nw sin R. And observe, for water to air we write Nw sin r, n air, that is 1, sin 90. So with these things, what we are asked to calculate refractive index of glass, what is given as mug, I have written it as ng. So nw sin r, nw sin r is there. So we can simply write ng sin I is n air sin 90, which is also equal to 1. This overall thing is 1. Therefore, ng is 1 by sin I. Option B is right. The refractive index of glass is 1 by sin I. We read the fourth question now. A microscope on a mark, focused on a mark on a piece of paper, and then a slab of glass of thickness 3 centimeter and refractive index 1.5 is placed over the mark. How should the microscope be moved to get the mark again in focus? Say the overall situation we analyze like this. This is the piece of paper, there is a mark, and a microscope is focused like this. Once we place a glass slab over this, normal shift occurs and its image appears to be raised. Then the microscope also to be moved so much as much the normal shift is there. Therefore, if we calculate the normal shift, so much is the microscope distance to be raised. For that, I write normal shift expression is u into 1 minus 1 by n. U, the glass slab thickness is 3 centimeter, so we call it as u. N is given as 1.5. We substitute everything. 1 minus 1.5 or 1.5 can be written as 3 by 2, so 2 by 3 we can write. Therefore, 3 minus 2 is 1 centimeter. Normal shift is 1 centimeter and the object or the image, that is the mark image, appears to be raised by 1 centimeter from the bottom. Therefore, microscope also to be moved up by 1 centimeter. Therefore, answer is 1 centimeter upward. So, option B is right. We read fifth question. Time taken by sunlight to pass through a window of thickness 4 millimeter, whose refractive index is 3 by 2. Say we are given with the thickness and time taken by the light to travel. We use formula V equals x by t, where x is distance to be traveled, t is the time taken. So, t equals x by v formula to be used. X is given to be 4 millimeter. How to calculate V? Refractive index n is given 3 by 2. But also we know C by V is the formula for n, velocity of light in air medium, air or vacuum, to the velocity of light in the given medium. Therefore, from this we can write V as C by n, where C is speed of light in vacuum. If we substitute everything there, x, for V I substitute C by n, which gives nx by C. X is 4 millimeter, 10 raised to minus 3. N, refractive index is 3 by 2. Whole divided by C, 3 into 10 raised to 8. So you cancel this, 2 2s are. So 2 into 10 raised to minus 11, because this 8 goes to numerator, means 10 raised to minus 8, 11. So 10 raised to minus 11. Final answer is 2 into 10 raised to minus 11 seconds. So option C is right. Sixth question we read. A ray of light passes through an equilateral prism such that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of emergence and the latter is equal to 3/4 the angle of prism. The angle of deviation, say we are given with these ideas. I is equal to E and later means the emergence is 3/4 the angle of prism A. We are asked to calculate the deviation. The deviation formula is I plus E minus A. We substitute everything. Say for I and E we substitute 3 by 4A plus 3 by 4A minus A. We substitute for A as 60 degree at the end. So how much we get? 6 by 4A minus A. 6 by 4A minus A. If we substitute for this 2 by 4 minus 1, or else if you take the LCM there, 2 by 4 A there, which is half of the A, which is 30 degree. Therefore, angle of deviation is 30 degree. Option D is right. We read 7th question there. A ray of light is incident normally on one of the faces of an equilateral triangular prism of refractive index 1.5. The angle of deviation. This numerically is very tricky and it can be solved just by drawing a figure. We draw the figure. Say this is the equilateral prism and the ray of light falls normally on one of the face. Say like this. It is falling normally at one of the face. Now observe, here very important thing given is n is 1.5, which is 3 by 2. That denotes critical angle is around 43 degree. Here the angle of incidence on the second face after normal incidence is, as it is an equilateral prism, it is 60 degree. Because all the angles are 60 degree, once it falls at the opposite face directly, as we can see, this is 60, this is 90, so this should be 30 degree. Therefore, angle of incidence should be 60. That means it is more than the critical angle. It should undergo total internal reflection. This is also 60. So, to calculate the deviation, we extend the incident beam like this, and this is the total angle. As we extend this, say, as this is 30, this is also 30, and this should also be 30 degree. Because this is 60 and this is 30, 90, it makes normal and this line. Therefore, overall deviation is 60 degree. Option 3 is right. A point object is placed at the center of the glass sphere of radius 6 cm and refractive index 1.2. The distance of the virtual image from the surface of the sphere. We write the figure first and then we think of the calculation. If we write the figure, most probably there is no need to do the calculation. Say this is center of the sphere, this is pole, and refractive index is given to be 1.2, n is 1.2. At the center, exact center, the object is there, that is a point object is placed at C. Now we are asked to calculate the distance of the image. As we know, in curved surface cases, when the object is placed at the center of curvature, image is also formed at the same point. Just like in the case of mirrors, we can show that now by using the curved surface refraction formula. That is Ni by V minus No by U is Ni minus No by R. We substitute for everything. Ni is in the air medium, so 1 by V minus No, the mirror image in the medium in which the object lies, that is 1.2. Image distance is 6. It should be plus because we are measuring it in the opposite direction. Minus 6, minus into minus is plus there. Then Ni 1 minus 1.2 by R. R is also 6. Say if we calculate these things, we can show V is 6 centimeter with minus sign. That means it exactly coincides with the center of curvature. So option C is right. Option C is right. We read 9th question now. A concave lens is in contact with convex lens. The ratio of the magnitude of their power is 2 by 3. Their equivalent focal length is 30 centimeter. what are their individual focal lengths in centimeter? Say we are given with ratio of the powers, one concave, one convex. Therefore, if we take concave power as P1, convex power as P2, so P1, P2 is minus 2 by 3. Why minus? Concave lens has the negative power, convex lens has the positive power, so minus 2 by 3. And their equivalent focal length, according to combination formula, 1 by f equals 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. 1 by 30 is the equivalent focal length. It is to be taken as positive. And we can take P1 plus P2 because 1 by f1 is P1, power of first lens, 1 by f2 is power of second lens. But we know P1, P2 is given as 2 by 3. So we can get P1 and then P2. So we write P1 as or P2 as minus 3 by 2 P1. If we substitute for this 1 by 30 P1 minus 3 by 2 P1, which amounts to be, say, minus 1 by 2 P1. Therefore, P1 is minus 15. There we can also calculate P2. That is focal length. P1 is minus 15. My focal length F1, sorry, not P1. F1 is minus 15. Similarly, we can calculate for F2. So, for F2, we can go for it like this. P1 by P2 is minus 2 by 3. We do it like this. P1 by P2 can be written as F2 by F1, which is minus 2 by 3. And F1 is written as minus 15. So, F2 is minus 2 by 3 F1. So, minus 2 by 3 into minus 15, which is 10. Therefore, F2 is 10, F1 is minus 15. Option D is right. For concave, it is minus 15. For convex, it is 10. So, option D is right. We read 10th question. Two thin lenses of focal length 20 and 25 centimeters are in contact. The effective power of the combination. Say, P we know, P1 plus P2 when they are in contact. But we know to write the power in diopters, we must convert that focal length into centimeters. We write P1 as 1 by 0.2 meters plus P2 as 1 by 0.25 because 25 centimeters 0.25 meter, 20 centimeter is 0.2. If we divide these things, this is 5 and 4. So 9 diopter is the answer. Option D is right. We read 11th now. Which of the following is true for ray coming from infinity? Say, here is a convex lens given and top part is made of one material, bottom part is made of one material. That's why they indicated the refractive index of top part as mu1 and refractive index of bottom part as mu2. So with this figure, we read all the options which is true, we think of. Two images are formed as two refractive index material are there, mu2 and mu1. Definitely when parallel beam of light ray falls from infinity, it acts as two lenses and it creates two images. Therefore, option A is itself right. We need not bother about other three options. Say 12th one we read. A thin lens of focal length F has aperture D. It forms an image of intensity I. Inner part of the lens up to diameter D by 3 is painted black. The intensity of the image will be, observe, we know intensity is proportional to diameter square because as much light can enter depends on the diameter or aperture of the lens. Therefore, it is given as intensity proportional to d square. Now, with that, once d by 3 is covered, so there is a loss of intensity which is proportional to d by 3 whole square. This is loss of intensity, which is d square by 9 or simply I by 9. So what is the remaining thing? I minus I by 9 is the intensity of the image formed now. That is 8 by 9I. Option C is right. Option C is right. We read 13th now. The focal length of a biconvex lens of refractive index 1.5 is 0.06 meter. Radii of curvature are in the ratio 1:2. The radii of curvature of two lens surfaces are, say here we have to use lens maker's formula. We write down that lens maker's formula, NL minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. But we know for convex lens, R2 is negative, R2 is negative, R1 is positive, and we are given with R1 by R2 is 1 by 2. Therefore, we can write R2 as 2R1. So, we substitute for that. 1 by focal length is given 1 by 0.06, NL 1.5 minus 1 is 0.5 into 1 by R1 plus 1 by 2R1, because we have to take R2 as minus 2R1, as we know that. Now, we can simplify this to get R1 as 0.045 and R2 we can get 0.09. Therefore, option A is right. We read 14th one. A thin lens of mu 1.5 of focal length plus 10 centimeter is immersed in water of refractive index 1.33. The new focal length will be, I just write a shortcut formula. If you remember this, you can do this. Focal length of water is given by NL minus 1 by NL by NS minus 1 into F air. Say where NL is lens medium refractive index, NS is surrounding medium refractive index, F air is focal length in air. We substitute everything, but I want to substitute mu as 1.5 as NL as mu 1.5, which is 3 by 2, we can substitute. Mu water as 1.33, I substituted as 4 by 3 because calculations will be easier and we can do it quickly. Therefore, 3 by 2 minus 1 divided by 3 by 2 by 4 by 3 minus 1. F air is 10. So, if you calculate all these things, we get 4. 4 into 10 is 40. Therefore, 40 centimeter is the answer. Option B is right. Always you can remember one thing. When we are given with focal length 1.5, 1.33 like that, then focal length of in the water is 4 times the focal length in air. That's a straightforward thing what you can remember. If it is given as 1.33 or 4 by 3 and 3 by 2 as the refractive indices. We read 15th question now. An equiconvex lens is cut into two halves along one XOX dash, that means along like this, YOY dash like this, as shown in figure. Let F, F dash and F double dash be the focal lengths of complete lens if each half case 1 and each half in case 2. That means, say once complete lens is there, its focal length is F. Once when we cut it into along XOX dash, either of have the focal length F dash, Once we cut it along y over y dash, each of will have the focal length f double dash. That is, along y over y dash, we get two lenses which are plano-convex and their focal length is f double dash. Once we cut it along the xy dash, we get two halves up and down, whose focal length are f dash and f. Now we want to choose the relations suitable here. Observe carefully. Once we cut along xy dash, we get two halves, one half very similar to the bottom half. Therefore, the radii of curvature will not differ. Therefore, those two parts whose focal length is f dash must be same as the first focal length when length is intact. Therefore, f is f dash or f dash is f. Now, to think of f double dash is the focal length of a plano-convex lens when we cut it along y over y dash. Plano-convex lens focal length formula, as we know, 1 by f is nl minus 1 by R1 only, because R2 is infinity. This we write as f double dash. But we know these are equiconvex lenses. If we write 1 by f full length formula, nl minus 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, that is 1 by R plus 1 by R, because they are equiconvex, that means radius of curvature are equal, R and R2, which gives us, say, 1 by f as 2 times nl minus 1 by R. Observe, 1 by f double dash, that is when we cut it along y over y dash is 1 by R, but when we take the full length it is 2 by R. Therefore, we can write f double dash as 2f. Finally, we have f dash is f double dash is 2f. Therefore, option A is right. We read 16th. Magnification at least distance of distinct vision of a simple microscope having its focal length 5 is. We know the formula. Magnification at least distance of distinct vision means, say, 1 plus d by f. We substitute everything there. 1 plus 25 by f is 5, which is 6 there. So option D is there. Correct. We read 17th question. A telescope has an objective length of focal length 200 centimeter and an eyepiece with focal length 2 centimeter. If this telescope is used to see a 50-meter tall building at a distance of 2 kilometers, what is the height of the image of the building found by the objective of the lens? Say we simply do it by just writing a diagram like this. Say we take like this. This is image, height of the image. This is height of the object. And it is given object is at 2 kilometers and height of the object is 50 meters. This angle is equal to this angle and focal length of the objective is say eyepiece is 2 meter and objective is 200 centimeter. So we write 200 centimeter. We take up to objective only and objective produces the image at its focus as the object is at farthest point. Therefore, we can do just this much. Then we can write, say, this relation HO by 2 kilometer, that is 2000 meter, is HI by 200. Centimeter means 2 meters. So 2 ones are, HO is 50. 50 by 1000 is HI. 50 by 1000 or 5 by 100. 5 by 100 is HI. That is, in we have written it in meters, 5 by 100 in meters. So 5 centimeter is the answer. So option A is right. 18th we read, the magnifying power of a compound microscope is 5. If the magnifying power of the microscope is 30, then magnifying power of the eyepiece will be, say we read, magnifying power of the objective of the compound microscope, we write it as MO, O stands for objective, 5. And magnifying power of the microscope, M, we write 30. Then magnifying power of the eyepiece, ME, we write. We know the formula M equals MO into ME. M is 30, MO is 5, ME to be calculated. So ME is 6. Option B is right. We read 19th question. The speeds of light in two media 1 and 2 are 2.2 10 raised to 8 meter per second and 2.4 10 raised to 8 meter per second respectively. Critical angle for light refracting from first medium to second medium. Say we can write it like this. N1 sin C is equal to N2. And we know N1 as C by V1 sin C, C by V2. We cancel C there. This C is critical angle, this C is speed of light. So sin C is V1 by V2. V1 is 2.2 10 raised to 8 cancels there, and 2.4, that is 11 by 12. Therefore, C equals sin inverse of 11 by 12. Option C is right. We read 20th. Two thin lenses of focal length f1 and f2 are in contact and coaxial. The power of the combination. We know for combination 1 by f equals 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. We are asked to calculate the power of the combination. Say if we take the LCM f1 f2 f1 plus f2, this is the 1 by f, which is nothing but power of the combination. So therefore option A is right. Option A is right. We read 21st question now. A concave and a convex lens have same focal length of 29 centimeter and are put in contact to form a lens combination. The combination is used to view an object of 5 centimeter kept at 20 centimeter from the lens combination. As compared to the object, the image will be. Convex have same focal length 29. That means their effective focal length is infinity, because 1 by f1 minus 1 by f1. For concave minus 1 by f1, for convex f1. So it is 0 there, 1 by f is 0, f is infinity. That means the combination acts like just a glass plate. Therefore, once we learn this, we read all the 4 options and we choose the correct one. Magnified and inverted, impossible, because it acts like a just glass plate. Reduced and direct, that's also not possible. That means as it acts like a glass plate, size must not change, and the image is always in the erect position only. Therefore, we read C, option of the same size as the object and would be erect. So this is the correct thing. Option C is right. We read 22nd question. A convex lens of focal length f produces a real image n times the size of an object. Then the distance of the object from the lens is. We write all the data given here. A convex lens of focal length f produces a real image n times the size of an object. Then the distance of the object from the lens. We write the formula for magnifying power in terms of focal length and object distance, f by f plus u. Substitute everything. N times, m is n there, magnification, f by f plus u, which amounts to be u as n minus 1 by n into f. So that must be the fourth option. So fourth option is right. D. We read 23rd question. The effective focal length of lens combination shown in figure is 60 centimeter. The radii of curvature of the curved surface of plano-convex lenses are 12 centimeter each, and refractive index of the material of the lens is 1.5. The refractive index of the liquid is, say here, 3 lenses are there, 2 are plano-convex on both sides, and in between a liquid lens. If we put the liquid between them, a liquid lens is formed. We are asked to calculate the liquid refractive index. So we write the lens combination formula 1 by f1, we call plano-convex as f1, this also f1. So 1 by f2 plus 1 by f1. And we are given 1 by 60 for combination, 2 by f1 is 12 there. The radii of curvature of the curved surface of plano-convex lens is 12 and refractive index 1. Observe, we are not given with f1, so we write 2 by f1 plus 1 by f2. First we calculate f1 and then we go for the other calculation. 1 by f1 is nl is 1.5 minus 1, and as they have same radii of curvature, we can write simply say 1 by r1 for f1 because it's plano-convex. So 0.5 by radii of curvature is 12. 1 by f1 is 0.5 by 12, 1 by 24. So f1 is 24 centimeters. If we 1 by 60 equals 2 by f1 plus 1 by f2, we substitute for f1 and we simplify it. 1 by 60 minus 2 by 24, which is equal to 1 by f2, which amounts to be 1 by 12. 1 by 60 minus 1 by 12 equals 1 by f2, that is minus 4 by 60, because if we equate the if we make equal denominators by multiplying 5 on second term, 5 by 60, so 5 minus 1 is 4 there. 4 by 60 is 1 by f2, so f2 is minus 15. Focal length of the liquid lens is 15. We proceed on to the refractive index calculation like this. Just observe. We write lens maker's formula 1 by f liquid lens equals, or we write 1 by f2 itself, n liquid minus 1 into say 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. L liquid is 1 by f liquid is focal length is 1 minus 1 by 15, n liquid minus 1 into 1 by r1. R1 is 12 centimeter, so both are concaves. R1 is negative, R2 is positive, so we can simply write minus 1 by 12 minus 1 by 12 radii of curvature. Therefore 1 minus 1 by 15, n liquid minus 1 into minus 1 by 6 we can write, cancelling the things there, minus sign, we have n liquid equals n liquid minus 1 equals 6 by 15, or n liquid minus 1 is 0.4, so n liquid equals 1.4. Option B is right. Option B is right. We read now the 24th question. An object is placed at a distance f by 2 from a convex lens. The image will be, say, we write the figure. Without writing the figure also we can guess. Say focus is here for a lens, convex lens. We are placing the object at f by 2. That means half of the focal length. This is u. This is where the object is there, f by 2. We know for a convex lens, when we place the object within the focal length, that is between focus and the optic center, it should form a virtual enlarged image besides the, say, on the side of the object itself. Therefore, it should form at one of the foci and virtual image an enlarged. We calculate how much enlarged here and what is the position where it is formed. For that we use 1 by f equals 1 by v minus 1 by u. 1 by f for convex lens, f is positive, 1 by v, u is minus, so 1 by f by 2. That is 1 by f minus 2 by f is 1 by v. Therefore, as we can see here, minus 1 by f is 1 by v. So, v is f. That means it forms at one of the foci. So, we read all the things there. First option, at one of the foci, that itself is correct. It is virtual because it's on the same side of the object. And if you want, we can calculate the size of the object also. A size of the image, hi by ho, we know the magnification, v by u. So, if we substitute for v and u, v is f, u is f by 2, therefore it is 2. Size is double, therefore option A is right. We read 25th question. If refractive index of material of prism angle A is n equals cot A by 2, then angle of minimum deviation will be, say we write the formula for n, minimum deviation formula, sin I by sin A by 2. Instead of I, we have to write A plus dm by 2, but for the sake of simpleness, I have written I only. There n is given as cot A by 2, which is sin I by sin A by 2. At the end we substitute for I equals A plus dm by 2. We can write cot A by 2 as cos A by 2 by sin A by 2. On this side sin I by sin A by 2. Sin A by 2, sin A by 2 cancels. So what we have now is cos A by 2 equals sin I. Cos A by 2 can be written in terms of sin as sin pi by 2 minus A by 2 equals sin I. I equals pi by 2 minus A by 2. That is 90 minus theta. But I, as we know, I is A plus dm by 2. The minimum deviation by 2 is pi by 2 minus A by 2. If we remove the 2 there, we get dm as pi minus 2a. Pi minus 2a. Pi is 180 minus 2a. Therefore, option B is right. Option B is right. We read 26th question now. The magnifying power of telescope is 9 when it is adjusted for parallel rays. The distance between the objective and the eyepiece is found to be 20. The focal length of the lenses are. Say, magnifying power of telescope when it is adjusted to parallel rays means normal adjustment. It is simply FO by FE. It is given as 9. And also when it is adjusted for parallel rays means for normal adjustment, we know the distance between objective and eyepiece is length of the tube and it is given by FO plus FE. It is given as 20 centimeter. So by solving these things we can get FO FE. We write FO as 9 FE. We substitute here 9 FE plus FE equals 20 or 10 FE equals 20. FE equals 0.2. FE equals 0.2. Sorry, it is 2. centimeter. 20 by 10 is 2 centimeter. So then FO is 9 into 2, which is 18 centimeters. So option A is right. We read 27th. A hollow double concave lens is made of very thin transparent material. It can be filled with air or either of two liquids, L1 or L2, having refractive indices N1 and N2 respectively, N2 greater than N1 greater than 1. The lenses will diverge a parallel beam of light if it is filled with. Say, we are given a hollow concave lens, double concave, that means it is always diverging when the surrounding medium refractive index is less than the lens medium refractive index. That's always the correct idea. If the surrounding medium refractive index, say here is 1 and N1 is say smaller than the lens medium refractive, it is always diverging. So in this case what we are given, it can be filled with air or either of the two liquids L1 and L2 having refractive index N1 and N2. We are given L1 refractive index N1, L2 refractive index N2, and N2 is greater than N1, it is given. The lens will diverge a parallel beam of light ray if it is filled with, say, if it is filled with either L1 and L2 and surrounding medium is air, then it should be diverging because L1 and L2 refractive index is larger than air 1. But have we given that answer? We have to check. Air is air and placed in air, so that's not possible. Air and it is placed in air means it will not act as a lens at all. B. Air and immersed in liquid L1. The air is filled in and immersed in liquid L1, then the surrounding medium refractive index is larger, so it makes it converging, so that's not possible. L1 and immersed in L2. Surrounding medium is L1. Surrounding medium, lens medium is L1, whose refractive index is N1, and immersed in L2 means surrounding medium is larger refractive index of N2. So that is also not possible. Last option we say L2, that is lens is filled with L2, larger refractive index, and surrounded by L1. So that is right. Option D is right. We read 28th question. Electromagnetic radiation of frequency n, wavelength lambda, traveling with velocity v in air enters a glass slab of refractive index mu, the frequency, wavelength and velocity of the light in the glass slab will be. Say we are asked to calculate these three things: frequency, wavelength and velocity. First we can decide directly frequency because we know frequency of the radiation does not change when it transfers from one medium to another. Therefore, first value of the answer should be n, frequency. As we see the options there, C and B have n in the beginning. Therefore, A and D cannot be. Among C and B, one thing we have to think of. Say, the wavelength also cannot remain same. Wavelength should change. Therefore, lambda by mu. By that argument, we can simply say option B is right without going for the calculation. But we can also calculate and we can get the answer. We want to calculate the refractive index, say lambda in terms of refractive index. We know n equals C by V. Say n inversely proportional to lambda because V equals F lambda, C equals F lambda in air. So if we do that, F cancels 1 by lambda. So n is inversely proportional to 1 by lambda. By using this, we can say lambda by mu is the value for the wavelength, new wavelength, or else we can write that here, we can show it. N equals F lambda air, that is a lambda, and V, F lambda in what medium, M, I write, F cancels there. So lambda M is lambda by N or mu, as N is given as refractive index as mu, so lambda by mu. Option B is right. We can also show the velocity as v by mu. There's no need, we can take option B as right. We read 29th question. A symmetric double convex lens is cut into two equal parts by the plane perpendicular to principal axis. If the power of the original lens is 4D, the power of the cut lenses, say this is the double convex lens, and we are given that it is cut perpendicular to principal axis like this. Say this is cut along this axis. We are getting two plano-convex lenses like this. Two plano-convex lenses. Now, for the original lens, it is 4 times the diopter. The 4 diopter is the power. Now, the power of cut lenses is asked. We know according to power combination formula, P equals P1 plus P2. P is 4, and as they are symmetric lenses, say symmetric double convex lens, therefore 2P1, we can write P1 equals P2. Therefore, P1 equals 2 diopters. Each part will have 2 diopters. Option A is right. Option A is right. We go for the last question in this session. We read, say the sun subtends an angle of 112, say it is half degree, not 112, half degree at Earth. The image of the sun is obtained on the screen using a converging lens of focal length 1 meter. The diameter of the image will be. Observe, we can think of like this. This is the lens, converging lens. Focal length is 1 meter. We can imagine the sun rays to come like this. Say this is the half degree subtended, this is also half degree, and this is height of the image. That's what we want to calculate, or diameter of the image. And then the focal length is 1 meter. Therefore, we can straight away use arc length formula. S is equal to r theta. S is hi there. R is 1 meter. Theta is half degree. But remember, we need to write it in, say, radians. Radians is half into pi by 180. Pi is 3.14. If we do this calculation, we get 9 millimeter as the answer approximately. Therefore, option B is right. There, I conclude this session. We have revised in the previous session electric charges, field, potential, capacitors, and moving charges and magnetism. In this session, we have revised complete geometrical optics or ray optics. We take up some other chapter in the next session.